Well, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Wallet Monkey channel, where we give you all the intel that you need to grow your wallet. WalletMonkey.io, a ton of free resources, completely free. Pre-qualification page with over 30 pre-qualification offers from major banks to fintechs to store credit cards, everything you could possibly want. There's all kinds of resources there. Go to the site, bookmark it, and visit there often because we're constantly updating it. And the point of that resource is to help you get all the information that you need, essentially, to make the best decision possible for, am I gonna get this card? What should I do with my credit right now? Should I be gardening? Or should I be going on an app spree or what we call a game day? All of those things, very actually important questions. And so we try to help as much as possible with that, right? So today, in this video, we're gonna be talking about Venmo, the Venmo credit card, the 3% cashback credit card, and I'm gonna give my opinions on it. I don't have it. I'm not really that big of a fan of it, so in case you wanna skip the whole video, I'm not really a big fan. But Venmo is a PayPal company, and so we're gonna talk about that, the rolling or top category spend of 3%, and then get into some nitty-gritty details about approvals and denials, what they're pulling, what bureau, all the good juicy details that you came for. So anyways, Venmo is one of those cards that's advertised similar to the MasterCard that PayPal has, and I believe this is a MasterCard as well. Essentially, it's backed by the same place. So let's start all the way at the top of where this is coming from, okay? These are both backed by Synchrony or Synchrony, whatever you want to call it, a bank, which is essentially a subprime lender. And they've got a plethora of store cards. We've got a, that's on the master lender list for the store cards. It tells you all the Synchrony bank cards that you can get. And this is one of those, okay? So the issue with that is that they're kind of considered a subprime lender. And so people with lower credit scores, damaged credit scores, they got dirties, DROGs on their reports, they tend to go for these types of cards because they don't really think that they got a lot of options, as well as the education level isn't that high. Maybe they just also too get impatient, I don't know. But that kind of puts this card in a unique category where a lot of people with, like I said, damaged credit tends to go for this and thinking that it's a really, really good card, and maybe it's not. So let's start at the top. It has what's called top category spend, which is where you get to pick a category and you get 3% cash back, 2% cash back on the next, and then 1% cash back on everything else. We scroll all the way down to the bottom to the fine print. That's where you want to hang out. That's where you want to get your answers. We can stop off here. Second, so it's 3 top categories that you pick and then 1% on everything else that's eligible purchases. If we go all the way down to the bottom, here we go, here's that information, and essentially where it's dumping you off to, here we go, right here, is the rewards program, which is this right here. So it's saying the same thing, but this is like the TOS page, right? So 3% on top spend, 2% second, and 1% on all other eligible purchases in spend category other. In a spend category other than the top spend, second top spend categories when using your card to send money to another personal Venmo, P2P payment. So the categories: dining and nightlife, travel, bills and utility, health and beauty, grocery, gas, transportation, entertainment. Those are further defined here in this section. So let me get rid of the highlight. Go ahead and give that a read. Also too, you can check out the link at the top. It just takes you to synchronymastercard.com. and it gives you the terms. Understand that with account suspensions, there are accounts, Synchrony bank accounts that do get closed, or bank accounts, cards that do get closed. They tend to not really tell you why. That is a risk that you take. They tend to be a little bit more finicky than Comenity. Comenity, I haven't really personally had any of those issues or heard too much about it, but I do know that it's possible with both. The thing to also keep in mind is that with Synchrony is now they're kind of changing up how they do it. For the longest time, they would just pull TransUnion, right? And so now what they're doing is they're pulling TransUnion or one of the other two, just depends. Now they're also pulling SageStream or Innovis. So having those frozen is usually in immediate denial as well. So it's getting very tricky. Even though I found one user who back in April of 2021 did get approved for a $5,000 card, and they said that their SageStream was locked down. Since this was the only example that I found, I don't know if it's true, I don't know if it's credible, but just understand that it seems that, like, yes, 99% of the time, if you've got Sage or Innovis locked down, that you will have an issue. And this is starting to become more and more true. And I want to explain why that got popular in just a second, but let's just double check to make sure that I got this right. Yeah, let me cover how to apply first and get into that, and then we'll talk about why everyone was freezing their SageStream and LexisNexis. Okay, so you got to download the app. Inside the app, you can apply. You can't really, I think you can do it if you log in as well, but it's easier to do through the app. and there's an automated phone number that you can call to actually get your credit limit increases. And I believe you can also use that to apply. It's some sort of automated prompt system versus talking to somebody real. I know this is true for the credit limit increases. I believe you can also do that to get your initial approval, or maybe there's just some sort of automated chat bot or something inside the app that will allow you to do it. But to apply, it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy, right? But you got to get the app first. You got to sign up for a Venmo account before anything else. Next, if you do get denied for a freeze, like a SageStream or Innovis freeze, there is no reconsideration. You can't call in and get that removed. It's a hard no, and then you have to apply again with another hard pull. Credit limit increases, like I said, you can call the automated number on the back of your card. It is 855-878-6462, and that is an automated system, and so you can do a credit limit increase within that. The minimum for a credit limit increase, even though there's not a lot of information that I could find, is 6 months, which is pretty standard for any bank card. Is that, the minimum kind of starts at like 6 months, unless we're talking about Navy Fed or Amex or something like that, but doesn't mean that like exactly at 6 months on the day you should do it. I've read that 6 months on the dot, people got denied. I've read that, one guy waited until it was at 8 months and he got approved, I think 4,500 credit limit increase. So, they do tend to give you a good credit limit increase when you get them. This is true for most Synchrony bank cards, is they tend to be pretty generous with the credit limit increases. It's just the tricky part is getting them. A lot of people have had those, a Synchrony card for years and not gotten any credit limit increase. It reminds me of kind of Discover, right? The next thing I want to cover is, let's talk about why so many people were freezing their SageStream, their LexisNexis, Innovis, all these data companies. Okay, it wasn't for like fraud protection, like everyone kind of thinks, right? And this is a common misconception, is that for the longest time, to be able to remove inquiries and derogatory things on your credit profile, this was the easiest way to do it. So we go in and we lock down SageStream, we lock down LexisNexis, and then what we do is we go back and we start sending in our letters and we start making our disputes on Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And because they're referencing the data from SageStream and LexisNexis to verify inquiries and collection accounts on the account, because we've now frozen this, it made it easier to do credit repair on this piece over here. And yes, I think a small part of it was like fraud protection, but let's be honest, a huge reason why that was going around is because that was seen as the backdoor way to get inquiries and stuff removed. Now, I'll tell you what, is that with Experian especially, like you can just call them up on the phone now and get inquiries removed. If you just stand your ground and say that it was, you did not approve or allow this inquiry, then they'll go ahead and remove it, right? So it's like, in one way, so what's kind of happened is, because a lot of the credit repair companies went out and used they kind of used the same letters and not the greatest approach, it was just kind of a generic approach, that's why that kind of created this new problem. So I guess my advice would be, is knowing what you know now, you've watched this video, watch the Amazon Prime video as well, the store card. I'll link the card up in the corner right now. Watch that, because we talk about this in detail with a lot of firsthand accounts of just what's changing with the data that they're pulling. Give yourself a day or two, call SageStream or submit online, same thing with Innovis, and make sure that it's unlocked. You might want to even call them and double check before you do any sort of app spree on this, which is good because it kind of puts time in between you and possibly an impulse, because there's a high chance that if you don't do this, then you'll just be denied and it's a waste of a hard pull, it's a waste of an inquiry. And then if you know how to remove it, still pain in the butt, but if you don't know how to remove it, just kind of sucks, right? So that's that whole story. Now, let's quickly pivot and wrap up. The appeal here is obviously that it's a 3% card, but keep in mind that just like with PayPal, there is a 3% fee that you incur when going Venmo to Venmo account. Now, there is a way to get around that, and we talked about that in a previous video. That would be the Amex Send feature. So you go in and you set up your Venmo as an account on your Amex Send, and it removes the 3% fee that you normally get. Keep in mind though that you're capped at $2,000 per every 30 days. Now, not sure if that's like just an automated thing that occurs in terms of using $2,000 through the Amex Send feature, or if that's because that's also the cap that you've got on your cash advance. So maybe it has something to do with like it's treating it as a cash advance, even though you're not getting charged those rates. I'm not really sure, but just keep all that in mind. And that is your workaround, because otherwise we're like, if we're sending Venmo to Venmo, then, I mean, we're getting charged 3%. So it doesn't matter if I make the 3%, it's a net zero, right? I'm right back at the starting line. So anyways, that's kind of my thoughts on Venmo, and I'm not really a big fan. I don't have it. I have zero desire to get the card. I don't even use Venmo, which like kind of dates me a little bit, I guess. You know, I use PayPal and other tools like that, but Venmo never really got into it. I know a lot of people do use it, absolute ton, but they do have a sign-up bonus as well. You get a $100 bonus if you qualify. So higher scores, no derogatories, you know, having all your stuff unlocked, that puts you in the best position to get any sort of sign-up bonus with any card or any bank. There you go. Comment below. I'd love to hear if you've got fresh data points, if you've tried to get the Venmo credit card recently, or if you got a credit limit increase. I'd love to get your specific data points in terms of what you got or didn't get. And yeah, or if you just want to help us with the algorithms, then just comment below. It totally helps. You can also like the video, which is completely free, and it helps us grow our channel and our community as well. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and we'll see you again real soon in another video.